Hi, thanks for coming to Story Van TV interview. I'm Bonnie McDonald Dixon, and I have my friend and mentor here, Harry Nouhan. I just have been so intrigued and learned so much from Harry. I knew I had to interview him. And I just want to read. He not only teaches struggling network marketers how to recruit, how to duplicate, the important part here, and grow their business. And today we want to learn some top lessons on how to grow your business. So, with that, Harry, can you tell us just a brief how you got started in your sales career from, gosh, working from home, not working from home, but working with your own family, and where your journey went from there?
Wow, what a story. Thank you so much for having me on today. I appreciate that. Like so many others, I've got an amazing story, and I started in the restaurant business. Like Bonnie mentioned, I grew up a family-owned restaurant. I actually was a big boy here in Michigan, the Detroit area. And when I was 7 years old, I used to turn the milk crates upside down so that I could be high enough to reach the grill to flip the hamburgers. So I started at a young age, and it was, all our family did. So that's what I knew through high school, grade school, elementary, so forth. And when I was 26, I found myself living paycheck to paycheck. And even though it was a family, I just knew there was something else for me. So I was around the entrepreneurial mentality. I was around the business conversation my whole life. I didn't know how to be an entrepreneur. I was an employee, but I was around that atmosphere. And that's when I got introduced to the sales industry through network marketing. And I started part-time because I didn't know anything about sales, didn't know anything about it. That time it was a nutritional company and didn't know anything about nutrition coming from the restaurant business. But I was teachable, and I struggled for 2 years. I really struggled to launch this thing, but I hung around. I hung around long enough to get around other mentors, other people that could teach me because I was willing to learn. And that was my second experience with coaches. My dad was an amazing coach. My mom was an amazing coach in the restaurant business. But in the sales industry, once I got around some coaches that could teach me the network marketing business, I started to grow personally, started to grow financially, started to grow business-wise. I was able to get people to stick around. I didn't have a revolving door. And that evolved into the talent of looking at businesses. And so now I consider myself a business strategist. I teach struggling and new network marketers how to launch and grow their business. I can teach at many levels because in 7 years' time from getting started at that humble beginning, because of the sacrifices that I made and because the blessings that were poured on me, I was able to get to earning over 7 figures a year. And that was a tremendous change, going from 17,000 a year flipping hamburgers at Big Boys to over 100,000 a month in 7 years. And that didn't start, but that was a major apex of my journey. And reasons that were not mine, and that door closed with that particular network marketing opportunity. That closed, and I found myself again struggling for a few years trying to duplicate what I had. And it took me a while to get back into the direct sales industry. It wasn't network marketing. It was actually going door to door with the cable company, and as a contractor, not as an employee. So I wanted to stick with that entrepreneurial mentality. I believed in myself enough to be 100% commission on whatever I do, because there's no cap on your income. And in a few short years, again, the blessings flooded, came out of the sky or whatever you want to call it, but everything aligned. And I was able to recruit, train, and manage the number one producing door-to-door sales team in the country. And not just in the cable industry, in any industry. And my top 7 guys were all making over 6 figures a year, knocking on doors, selling cable. And it was just an amazing thing. And what was interesting, though, is in the corporate America environment, when you start making that kind of money, which ended up being millions of dollars, they changed the rules of the game on you. And sure, they did. And they changed the rules. And little by little, after the few years, it became a point where it wasn't worth it for me anymore. And that's when I started building my own brand. started finding ways, learning, getting around another level of coaching to teach me how to take what I learned and get it to the masses using the internet, because the two fortunes I made were without the internet. And over the last 3.5 years now, I've been working on my own brand. I have a private Facebook group just for network marketers. I do consulting and coaching on the side for CEOs, business owners, and teams, not only in the network marketing industry, but outside, also teams, network marketing, and I'm available to do corporate training as well. So it's been a journey, and I've met some amazing people over the internet, which we wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet before. And it makes the whole globe, the whole world is on your laptop. So we're in an amazing time. We've got some challenges coming up economically, politically, and whatever. We can see that on the horizon with interest rates and with inflation. But in this industry, in the sales industry, in the network marketing industry, we thrive in this industry. We don't just survive and freeze and wait for it all to come out. We thrive because everything you own is you got from a salesperson. Nothing moves without sales. Something has to be sold for people to get. So that was my journey in a nutshell. I might have went a little bit longer than you wanted, but that was my journey, and here I am today. And I appreciate the opportunity to share.
Harry, it's the perfect message for people. This day and time, oh my goodness, as you said, it can be frightening for people if they're living on a fixed income. It can be scary if someone loses their job. What do they do? This industry offers someone with no degree, you don't need a not even a high school degree. It's nice, but or college degree. You can make as much or more than a CEO from another company. What I learned from you, and you have many sales lessons, but what I heard is take what you have, and that this style is personal growth. This style of selling is consistency. All business owners, they need that consistency. And if you're doing this as a business, it's the consistency. And I don't want to go on too many. I would like you to share your favorite sales things that people should know right off the bat if they were to try this industry. Share with us a couple of your faves.
Wow, that's a great topic. What I learned, one of my mentors taught me, is to spend more time on yourself than you do on your job. In other words, and then he kind of summed it up. He said, personal growth has to come before the fortune. Because if you don't have the skills and the disciplines and the habits to earn the fortune, you won't know how to keep it. And so it is essential that you find ways to grow, read the books, listen to the videos, the audios. Back then it was tapes and cassettes. And that's where I was able to grow, and I had to travel. Now it's all on our laptop, like I said, which is perfect. I see the little van up there, a little RV in the corner of the screen there. It's perfect because this business, just with a laptop and Wi-Fi, you can take it anywhere in the world and grow your business and meet people. It's just crazy the opportunities that present themselves. But having the personal growth to know. So let me put it a different way. If you want to make $100,000 a year, you have to be worth $100,000 a year. If you want to make $1 million a year, you have to be worth $1 million a year. And where does that come from? The personal growth, the disciplines. The people think differently that are making $100,000 a year than the ones that are making 30 or 40. They have different habits. People making $1 million a year, they have different habits, different disciplines, different strategies, different tactics. So my number one lesson that I got is I can earn as much as I want, provided that I learn the skills and how to bring that level of value to the marketplace. And with the internet and with the tools that we have today, we've never seen these kind of tools before. And if you're willing to do the work and you're willing to grow, the sky's the limit. You can earn whatever you want. And network marketing is a perfect opportunity because it's a low entry point. But because it's a low entry point, a lot of people don't take it seriously. They treat it like a hobby. And if you treat it like a real business, it is the average person's best chance. It certainly was for me. Where's the guy? I did graduate from college with a 2-year degree. It took me 7 years part-time to get it. And I don't know that I've used any of what I learned in school, the public school system, in my business career. So this is, I learned it all from coaches.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really profound. You can learn on the job when you are in network marketing, and there are mentors for you. Now, one of the things I know about you is you've taught me the importance of having a mentor. Can you speak to that a bit?
Yeah, I sure can. I taught my kids this. I said, listen, kids, there's only 2 ways in life to learn anything. You can learn from the school of hard knocks, learning it yourself, which is usually costly, time consuming, and painful in many ways. Or you can learn from someone else's experience. And that's fast, it's quick, it's easy. They already made the mistakes. They've already gone through the path. Kind of like when the pioneers were going west to California from the east. They traveled the same road because the road was already there. Why travel a road that hasn't been made when you can travel a road that's already been? It was easier. The first ones that went, it wasn't so easy. They had the rocks, they had the mud, they had all the things in the way. And the ones that came after, the road, all they did was follow the road. This is the road to California. This is the road to Colorado. And we do the same thing today in cars. We follow the roads that are paved. We don't go off road from Detroit to California. That would be nonsense. But the traveling the road that's already been there is the easiest. And getting a coach at whatever level you are, the highest earning people in the world have coaches. Oprah had, I think, 2 or 3 coaches. She's a billionaire. She had 2 or 3 business coaches that were helping her. Every major business coach or executive has a coach, to somebody, a sounding board. It doesn't matter how much money you make, having somebody to get your thoughts out. So even the Bible in Proverbs, there's, I think, 12 or 14 Proverbs that specifically say, get a coach, have multiple counselors. Those that try to figure it out by themselves end up with pennies. Those that have a center, counselors, they get to the end result quicker and faster. They make fortunes. So it's, I believe in it totally. I personally, even today, at the level that I teach at, I currently have 3 coaches, and those coaches help me get to the next level that I want to get to.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. We often, at least in my sales career, this is the learning curve I've gone through, is I was a lone wolf out there. And yeah, I had a manager back at the ranch, but I just did my thing. I knew the discipline of consistency and being there and showing up, but I didn't know how to work with a team. And Harry, can you speak to this industry teaches you to be a team player? Can you speak to that?
In the network marketing industry?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a question somebody posted online a couple of days ago. It said, how do you become a more well-rounded leader? And my answer is get more people to lead. Mm-hmm. So if you want to be a leader, what I liked about network marketing, because I came from a franchise restaurant, I saw the struggle my parents went through with labor cost, food cost, unemployment cost, workman's comp cost, and they scraped by for 20 years, barely making anything. I think there was only 2 years where they actually made profit. When I saw network marketing, I saw it, wow, this is almost the exact same thing with no overhead. I can do a business, build my business inside of another business, use their support system, and I can teach other people. Now, without a coach, like I said, I struggled for the first 2 years because I didn't know how to do it. And I was working a full-time job, doing it part-time. And it took me a while to learn enough where I felt comfortable going full-time and saying, okay, now I'm going to hire a coach, or now I'm going to get a coach. Now I'm going to get around the people that have already been there. And that's when I started traveling to Chicago and traveling to Dallas to get in these meetings where other people had already been there. So I could, and once I got it, once I understood it, I said, okay, it's not so much important that I go unless I take somebody with me. Mm-hmm. And that's when I started recruiting I started learning how the art of promotion and learning how to develop people underneath me, learning how to get them to hear the things that I heard from other people. So building a team, there's no company out there that's successful without multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't. No company survives without people working on a team with them. There's always somebody. Look at Amazon. The richest people in the world, they've got thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people working for their companies. You just can't do it alone.
Mm-hmm.
So team effort is where do you want to go? If you don't want to grow, you don't want to make big money, be that solo person.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting. So you can be solo, you can still make money, just you may not make a lot of money. But if you choose to make a lot of money and you choose to be a leader of a team, the sky's the limit. And I think that's really interesting because a lot of people will say, well, I'll buy a franchise. Well, it might cost you 50, 100,000, millions if you wanted a McDonald's. You have the overhead, you have to run employees. This style of business I find fascinating. You are your own boss and you own the business, but yet you're supported everywhere, and the overhead is dramatically different. For some of these businesses, it's like less than $100 to get started. You can learn on the job. And back to time, some people I've noticed, they can work with this around the job they have with the time they have if they're consistent. Can you speak to that?
I can, and I most people start this business part time. Most people do because again, it's such a low entry point, and you can, especially now with the way inflation is, gas prices, just to live like we did 6 months ago, we are spending an extra $500 to $1,000 a month more because of the rate of inflation and because of the rate cost of living. So a lot of people are looking for a way to offset that increase in expense.
Mm-hmm.
So the network marketing industry is the easiest way because you can work it 2 hours a day. You can work it 4 hours a week, 5 hours a week, as long as you work it with a full-time attitude. And it's going to be the same. This industry in recessions, which we are going into a recession. I'm not an economic expert or an economist, but all the signs are there. And I listen to the people that see this. And we haven't had one in many years. So it's coming. And the network marketing industry always has an increase because of this, what I'm sharing with you. People are looking for a way to earn extra money, and they're looking for a way to employ themselves, to be their own boss, to have the freedom and flexibility so that they're not at the mercy of economic changes. So we hear the economy this, the economy that. Well, scrap that and say, what's my economy? It gives us an opportunity to take full responsibility of where we are and where we're not, which is the definition of the maturity. The true height of maturity is that. So the network marketing industry, as long as you treat it like a business, could be the answer and will be the answer and has been the answer for millions of people around the globe. And of course, in the United States, it's one of the biggest markets, and that is a great opportunity. Find a company, find a product that you like, that you're excited about, that you can get emotionally attached to, with good history, and work it. And the magic of network marketing, in my opinion, is the fact that you can build a residual income by building a team. Whether it takes you 6 months, 6 years, or 20 years, you can build a residual income by learning how to recruit other people and build them up and so forth, and do the multiplication. And so what other company can you do that? Where other company can somebody start from basically nothing and make an unlimited amount of income if they have a burning desire, if they're teachable and learn how to do it, and they get around the people that are doing it. In fact, one of my mentors asked me early on, he said, what do you want from this? Which, by the way, I recommend you ask anybody that you recruit. He goes, what do you want from this? I said, well, I saw a lot of stories going across the stage. I'd like to make $20,000 a month. He says, have you ever made that before? I said, no, I've never made more than $17,000 in a year flipping hamburgers at Big Boys. I said, I have no idea. He goes, I suggest you do two things. I said, what's that? He said, find someone that's doing it and do exactly what they tell you to do. Do exactly what they're doing, as long as it's legal, moral, and ethical. He goes, that's the fastest way to get to where you want to go. And it turned out that way. Like I said, in 7 years, actually in 6 years, it started to pop. It started to pop in 6 years, and then by the end of the seventh year was over seven figures a year. So that's I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, no, it's amazing information for anyone that's looking, that wants to change their life for the good, for the better, because finances can make a huge difference for a family. I know in my own life, I'll tell a quick story. Someone in my family got very ill, and I ended up being a caretaker, and I left my career. No income was coming to me, no income was coming to them. But the residual income that you talked about has saved people's lives by having an income come over from the side. And the worries are not there. So it with a regular job, you don't get to always choose the people you're working with. Here you can kind of choose people you want to work with. When you stop your job, the income stops. And it's kind of shocking sometimes. And sometimes people aren't expecting it. And even if a company you're working with stops, you have built yourself as a leader, and instantly, I've seen it myself, instantly you can move to another company, and boom, you are almost back where you were, because you've not just built a business, you've built a community. Can you speak to that a little bit for me, Harry?
I can. I'm really glad that you brought that up. You mentioned at the when you started that little piece there, you mentioned you can make a lot of money. When I got into network marketing, I got in for the money. I got in for the, and when I saw those circles and squares on the board, I got excited. But I didn't stay in for the money. I stayed in because I got results on the product. And then I realized that I could have a tremendous amount of impact out there. And I realized that I could help a lot of people. And the people that I help can help other people, and they can help other people. And the distributorships that I built, by the way, I'm not in network marketing today. I train it, I teach it, and so forth. But the distributors that I was instrumental in building back in the 80s and 90s, and even in the 2000s, have gone on and continued to go and grow. And in fact, one of them produces over 2 billion a year in 23 countries around the world. And again, through situations that I had no control over, I no longer get any residuals from that particular business, but it's still continuing to go. The impact that has around the world, because I was able to start that and grow with that and teach my top guys what to do and how to do it, has affected over 1 million people, and continues to, with not only with the opportunity, but with the product. So the global impact of what was done there has been tremendous. So we do it. What I train is having impact on people. So yes, today, when you're looking at your network marketing business, it's great to be on the products and it's great to get clients. But if you want to have maximum impact, if you want to grow a business, if you want to really affect people in so many different ways, learn the skills of recruiting. That's one of the things that I teach. I have classes on teaching what it takes to recruit, the right mindset, the right messaging, and growing a business that will impact so many people, not only locally, but now with the computer and the internet around the world. And so I think it's critical and essential to really treat it like a serious business. I always now, later on, as I grew in the business, I learned the skills. I always led with the opportunity because I knew that I could change somebody's life, and I could choose the people I wanted to work with. If I found somebody to be a jerk, nothing I was going to do was going to change that. That's somebody that I choose not to work with. But that's rare. Most people want to develop up a relationship. That's just human nature. And I think that building relationship is critical, not with the intention that your company is going to go out of business and you take those people with you, but it's just the right thing to do. Build a relationship with people because you care about them. And when you care about them, you show them that you care about them, they will grow in your business to build their own team. And what you do with them, they're going to do with their people. So if you treat them like your child or like somebody, your brother, your sister, that's how they're going to recruit and duplicate. And having those relationships, I'm still in touch with several people that I did business with 35 years ago. And we have a very amicable relationship. And those are relationships that you can go, wherever you are and wherever you want. That's a family feel. And we are a family oriented society. Most people want to have that close knit relationship. So regardless of what company you're in, whatever you're promoting, you should care more about. And in fact, here's a phrase. Here's what I was taught. If you care more about your distributors earning an income and having an impact than you do about the commission you're going to make off your distributors, the money will hunt you down and your team will grow exponentially. If you're only recruiting so you can make money off of them, it's very tough. People aren't going to stick around. They can feel it. They can hear it in your voice. They can see it in the way you act. They know it, and they know that all you're in it for is the money. But if you're in it for the impact, if you're in it for you because you really care about them and you want them to be successful, the money will hunt you down.
That's amazing. I do have one question though before we go. This one's interesting. So, you and I, we're on the same plane. We think it's the best thing since sliced bread, the network marketing, relationship marketing. Some people are naysayers and say, oh, it's a scam. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. What do you say? What do you teach people to share about the industry that it is real, but some people may have had a bad taste in their mouth at some point? So, what can we share with people for those naysayers? They're listening in now, they're curious. What can we share with them?
Unfortunately, some businesses have the bad apples, and sometimes there's a bad network marketing company that doesn't doesn't treat their people right. They don't have the best product and or leadership, and that's unfortunate because it gives a bad name to the industry as a whole. But if you look at business, first of all, the network marketing industry, I believe last year did like 72 billion or some outrageous numbers. So obviously the industry itself is not a scam because it's viable. There's companies out there that are 40, 50 years old and more. So it is a viable business. Unfortunately, some people have, again, gone with the wrong company or got tricked or manipulated into buying a bunch of inventory, loading up their garage, and they feel like they got ripped off when it was their decision to buy the products or buy the inventory. Nobody's twisted their arm. Nobody forced them to pull out their credit card or whatever. They made a bad business decision, but they blame it on the company because people have a hard time taking responsibility. So network marketing is not a scam. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in business. Are there people out there that are scammy? Unfortunately, yes, in any industry. Are there people out there that are shady? Unfortunately, yes. So I usually tell people to look for three things when you're looking for a company. Look for a high quality Rolls Royce product that you can get emotionally attached to, product or service that you can get emotionally attached to, whether it's consumable or whether it's a service oriented product. If you can get excited about it, that's key. Second thing is look for a compensation plan that rewards you enough that you're comfortable with for marketing that product. And then the third thing is make sure the leadership is sound. Make sure the leadership is honest, they have integrity, and they know what they're doing. So if you have those three things, here's why. If you have a great product and a lousy compensation plan, you got great products collecting dust on the shelf because nobody's going to sell them and invest their time into selling something they can't make money on. If you have a great compensation plan and a lousy product, it might go up fast, but eventually it's going to crash. And that's usually what happens. Companies have come in, they've attracted you with great bonuses and incentives to join and recruit, but the product doesn't perform. And when the product doesn't perform, people catch on and boom, it just collapses and falls apart. And that can happen. And then you got good products, good compensation plan, but you have leadership that's greedy, they're arrogant, they have high egos, and unfortunately they destroy the company from the inside and a lot of people get hurt. So those things have happened. They can happen. It has happened to me. And that's one of the businesses and distributorships that I built that actually ended up happening to. And it's unfortunate because a lot of people get hurt. And if you don't have this, usually the ones that get hurt the most are the new ones, the ones that have come in the last 3 to 6 months, because they bought into the story. But if you look at the gold mine and diamond mine fiascos that have happened over the last 3 decades, especially in Canada, you've got these stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange that go up. Everybody's buying this gold mine that's defining gold in South America, and it goes up. They invest all their money buying the stock, and then they find out that there really is no gold, and they've lost all their money. The thing collapses, and all these people lose their money. Does that mean that the gold mining industry is a scam? No. I mean, a few years ago, I think it was Ford. They had their tires that were coming off the cars, and people were getting killed with bad tires. And I think I don't remember the maker of the tire, but does that mean that Ford is a bad company? Does that mean the tire company is a bad company because they produced a bad product? Unfortunately, people got affected to the point where they died and they got killed. Things happen like that. But the network marketing industry is not immune. And it's, again, unfortunate, but there are good, solid companies out there that are 4 or 5 years old and older. There's other good companies that are just starting out, but there's that period, that the company that I made my big run on, they tried to recruit me for a year. And I said, no, I'm going to wait till you're at least 13 months old, because most companies go out of business in the first 12 months. So the guy that ended up being my sponsor, who's a very good friend of mine today, he called me every month for 10 months in a row. And as soon as they were 13 months old, I joined that company. And in 22 months, went from 0 to 127,000 a month in 22 months. But I waited until they went through that testing period. I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying that you should. I'm just saying that's what I did, because I felt comfortable at that time. And so that hopefully answered your question.
Absolutely. Harry, you are such a wealth of information. If you're considering network marketing, if you're in network marketing, or if you're a seasoned network marketer, I encourage you to reach out to Harry and have a one-to-one. Really, he comes from the heart. He knows his stuff. And I believe with Harry's help, millions of people are going to be for much better off by you learning the skills from a mentor like Harry. Now, Harry, tell us a little bit how they can reach you and what's going on right now in your business that they might want to reach out to you and check in with.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. Right now, I'm on fire. I love what I'm doing. I love teaching people. For me, it's all about getting this information out there. I learned over the last few years that the richest place in the world is a cemetery, because people die with all the information in their head and they don't pass it on to the next generation. And so I want to pass on the gifts that I've been blessed with, the gifts of mindset, the gifts of disciplines, the gifts of habits, the gifts of personal growth and development. I want to pass it on to the next generation. So I do offer a free strategy session. And there's my information going across the bottom of the screen there. I do have a website, thedistributorsacademy.com. There's a couple of courses on there that are fee-based courses. And there's my calendar link if you want to schedule a free appointment with me. I'm on YouTube. 3 years ago, you couldn't find me on social media. Now I'm all over social media. I've got several hundred videos on YouTube. I have a private Facebook group just for the network marketing industry, and there's several hundred videos on there. So yes, please feel free to reach out with me. Whatever I can do for you, I'd love to have the opportunity to add value to your life and your business.
Thank you, Harry, so much for coming on the Storyvan TV. It was so much fun, and I just feel like my brain's full of juicy stuff. Thank you, thank you. And we look forward to the future of other things that Harry might come up with, but he is the man to go talk to if you want to open your own business and change your life. Thank you again, Harry.
Thank you so much.